Doing Time with Deputy Mike.
All right, welcome back to Doing Time with Deputy Mike. I am Mike. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about podcasting, getting into the schools and marketing it, making some money off of it. I have a special guest, Mr. Fred Barrett. So let's go ahead and move on to roll call. Grab your feet and take a seat. It's roll call time. Well, if everybody, we'll start with Mr. Barrett, Fred. Go ahead, and if you would.
I am Fred Barrett. I am with PBS Western Reserve. I am the Emerging Media Learning and Development Manager.
I'm Lily Ramos. I'm a senior in the multimedia program at TCTC.
I'm Nate Driscoll, and I'm also a senior in multimedia at TCTC.
And I'm, of course, Mike. So let's go ahead and move into interrogation.
Interrogation time.
So, well, Lily, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Go ahead and tell us about yourself.
So, I really like doing video content and producing stuff. Some of the stuff that I just produced for BPA, what we compete through, I made promotional videos for a festival in Cuyahoga. We did a whole branding team. That was two really big projects that I really like working on. Growing up, I wanted to get into multimedia because I actually started out liking special effects makeup and like horror films and stuff. So that's kind of what drew me to this. And then as I got into this program last year, I actually got into more like the video side and producing.
Well, I enjoyed your Scooby-Doo thing that you made. That was fun. Now, you like to play guitars?
Yeah, I am. It's one of my New Year's resolutions to start playing again because I stopped for a couple years and my guitar's just been collecting dust. So I was like, I really need to teach myself again.
What else do you like to do?
I really like watching movies. I'm a big movie watcher. A lot of the time, me and my friend work at restaurants, so we go to like the 10:10 showings at Regal by the Eastwood Mall just to see whatever's like would be interesting for us to watch. So I've been really big on watching movies recently. I have Letterboxd, which is basically like social media for movie nerds where you can like rate and like what you watch and write a review and like see your friends' reviews of stuff. So I like going on there and like rating movies and everything and see what's popular that week and stuff like that.
Nice. Now, what's your favorite kind of? What's your like favorite like horror?
Yeah,
Dramas.
it's horror. I grew up watching horror. My big sister, the first horror movie I ever remember watching was Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh my
watching
God.
it.
You just jumped right into
I
it.
really did. I remember watching it on DirecTV on cable, and I remember like the scene at the end where the claw comes over the Jason mask in the dirt. That was like engraved in my head for forever. That's always like the first thing that I remember, first horror movie I watched. So now I'm really big into keeping up with all the horror stuff.
When I grew up, my favorite thing was Charlie Chan. I don't know if you guys. I know he knows
idea.
Charlie Chan. I love Charlie Chan, and in fact, I got most of the DVDs I think now. But here's a little tidbit information about Charlie Chan. So the creator of Charlie Chan actually went to school and graduated from Warren G. Harding, which is kind of cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you probably don't know who Charlie
I
Chan
got no
is.
idea. No idea.
I was trying to think of who you can compare him to today. So
Like, he more, I guess you could say he's a more modern Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Except Charlie, he traveled everywhere. He was like all over the place.
So it was a horror movie?
No,
No?
mystery.
mystery,
Okay.
mystery with some comedy in it.
Yeah.
See, I wish they would they've made a couple since like the originals, and I didn't like them. They made them too like too comical. I like the more mystery.
Mm.
So go ahead, Nate. Tell us about yourself.
Me. I'm just a kid in a school. I mean, I'm a senior now. That's kind of crazy. I like doing what I do. Producing this podcast is also really fun. Honestly, I'm kind of blank. I'm not really interesting.
Well, you're in band.
I am in band.
play guitar?
I do play guitar.
What are you playing? Actually, more instruments.
I also play trumpet, and I dabble in piano. I mean, I'm okay at it. Not terrible. Not good either, though.
Well, you're a step better than I am.
Right. Past 2 keys, I'm done.
Yep. And you like video gaming.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't like video games? Like, come on.
Yep. So that's it.
That's I mean,
What do you plan on doing once you graduate?
when I graduate,
Yeah.
I want to go into like audio engineering and do like not produce, but like run live concerts and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. I also want to another big thing for me is if I could kind of make my own record label. That'd be kind of cool. I'm a big music guy. I love music.
Oh,
so-
you do? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
In fact, well, didn't you do our new?
Yeah,
Intro.
yeah, I did do that. Well, it was just like mixing on GarageBand and stuff like that. So
But you created it.
I did create it.
So. Anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself?
I mean,
That's it, huh?
I'm blanking.
And, today, we have Mr. Fred Barrett. Talking to him, he's got some really interesting stuff about podcasting and how he got into it. So let's get to it. It's like,
As I was telling Deputy Mike, honestly, when I was single digit age, my dad had a big record collection, and when I was growing up, we had this furniture to where it was it was a big furniture display. It was just long, about 6 feet wide. It was just a piece of furniture, but inside, you opened up the lid in the middle. It was a record player. You had records on the side, and the front of it was speakers. And I remember, single digit age, I would just go through all the albums, look at them, put them on a record player, the LPs. I was that early in that age. And my dad he was in Vietnam, and he would let me play with the stereo he bought over there. Now, as a kid, I thought it was like flying planes, I was making up. But it was a tape recorder I was playing with. And I think that set the trend of what I was doing, what I end up doing now. But my first professional foray into radio was a church I was brought up in. They had an audio room where we would record the sermon. I learned how to run my first board. For the old audio heads, my first board was a PV800. And I took the manual and I read it. And nobody in the room really read it. I always had a flat line going across the equalizer. And I'm thinking, I knew that was wrong when I was 12 years old. So I started playing with it. And I did that for years. And at 14, we ended up getting a television broadcast. Now, back then, TV cameras was huge, Beta, big machines, just ginormous. And we had the #1 rated gospel show in Memphis during that time. And I still talk to the creator to this day. So I was always in it, but I played sports for a while. And I came up with the idea of a sports network before ESPN came along.
that's
And when
cool.
ESPN came along, I was mad. But I had no way to do it. But I was like, I had Triune Sports that came up with this name, so I was always dabbling in media. I wanted to get in radio, but when I was growing up, it wasn't opportunities for high school kids to have the opportunities y'all have. Until my brother, 10 years apart, till he came into school, they started having programs. I got into the military. Went to college. They didn't have any media programs. Played football for a while, and I left there, and I went in the military. Computers was just kicking in strong. But we still had video cameras with VCR tapes. They recorded straight to tape. But I was always dabbling. And I loved music, I loved radio. And every city I've lived in, I always found a way to connect to a local radio station to do some work for them. If it was photography, it was being on air. But my last stint working with a radio station was 107.3 The Wave in Cleveland.
Okay.
I worked with them for years. Love jazz.
Well, you got that great radio voice. You do. You it's got that nice bass to it.
And I did radio in the Navy. We had a Navy on the base. We had a little show that we did. So NSG at Kania.
You know, in vinyls, I don't care. Vinyls. do it.
Vinyl.
It's coming. It's back.
It's
This
coming
is-
back. Yeah,
It's
that's
coming back?
records. Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah.
records.
Go
oh,
to
yeah.
Target. Go to Target. You'll see
I,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had a record player because
sell 'em.
They do sell them. They're coming back out.
Yeah, but then I gotta buy it.
Well, the thing is with music back then, we had you would find an LP or something, and it just had one song on it. It's like it's bad. Like you didn't want to buy it.
Yeah.
But you got to be real selective because back then music had to be good. You had to have at least 6 or 7 tracks for you to want to buy that album. Either that or it was cassette or whatever. But yeah, they're starting to come back. Even when I bought a couple of them, but I have to make sure this group is good all the way through because you can't skip like that.
Yeah. So, actually, I heard you say something about you worked for a radio station for jazz music.
Yeah, it was a jazz station up in Cleveland, 107.3 The Wave.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up. I'm in a jazz band.
Okay.
And I love jazz music too. I just want to bring it up because jazz music jazz music is amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Cleveland
It's-
is big, and I
it's-
know of quite a few jazz groups up from like you got Blue Jazz down in Akron.
Mhm.
You got a few jazz. I used to go to Nightown in Cleveland till when they shut down. I think they're supposed to be opening back up. But when I was with my the video due on the side, I covered a lot of jazz groups around the area. I had fun doing it. I did that for years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I'd be down to do that.
Yeah, I can do show up and they love it because they need exposure too. Everybody needs a story. Everybody needs to be seen / heard. So with this radio station, the 107.3 The Wave changing formats, it's still opportunity to pick that up by somebody. You can create a podcast highlighting jazz. You can create a podcast on anything out here. And like I tell people, it's easy to create a podcast, but it's hard to get people to listen to it. That's the marketing side of it. That's what I teach.
That is, that's true. Because I always look. I jump on like the different platforms we have. Excuse me, and the first thing I'm trying to see is like how many likes did we get.
Oh my god.
Or like on Spotify, how many people like viewed it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some we got a lot, and there's some that we got very little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think probably helped with our views would be the stickers that we constantly hand out, because like everybody in the school now knows about the podcast, which
Yeah,
is pretty cool.
and someday I'll still get my shirts. I hope.
Oh, I wear the shirts. I still
Yeah.
wear the shirts.
Do y'all use QR codes that'll take people to the podcast?
Is there one on the sticker? Or
No, I believe not.
we should do that.
Yeah.
I know that we're gonna be doing something that like QR codes are gonna be involved. So
QR codes should be on everything. I'm a QR code geek. I've been talking about QR codes 10 years ago, and nobody was listening to me.
Yeah, now you just go up and scan every.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it. If you go outside the hallway here, we're starting to put like episodes up on the glass, and then you can go up and scan it, and it tells you, I guess, about the episode or whatnot.
yeah, so like there's gonna be pictures of like people of that episode on the wall,
Mhm.
and like so people can be walking past and look at their friend and be like, oh my god, he was on that podcast, and
I
then
did
take out
that.
their phone, and then I feel like that'd be pretty cool. So that's the plan with that. I think that's
I've done that with so I'm gonna give y'all a secret how to promote, but most people are scared to do it. Is a way to get your podcast in front of thousands locally, and that's to advertise on Spotify. You can promote your, how Facebook, you can promote on Facebook.
doesn't that cost like a lot of money though
Spotify starts out at $250.
for one ad?
Yeah.
Or
And they'll just run that commercial or whatever.
Well, you set the parameters. You can tell it, I want this zip code, I want this region, I want this age, I want this style of music, I want all this stuff. And I'll share this. So I ran a program for a local county. It was doing the census.
Mm.
And just to get to the point of the matter, we spent about $300, and I reached 20,000 people.
Nice.
They heard the ad 3 times a week. 3 or 4 times each week, and we did that for 2 months. So imagine if you got this show that hit 20,000 people.
That'd be kind of crazy.
That's how you become a celebrity.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool. Then everybody would know about our little school podcast.
And that's how you turn around and make money. You turn around like, oh, we hit 200,000. Somebody out there go, oh, I want to be on that show. Do y'all have advertising? They'll call in, hey, can you put this ad on here? That's how you start making money with this.
Okay.
You know, as far as like we're here at the school, I think I think we're way ahead of all the other schools.
Oh, yes, you
Oh,
are.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You
know,
more than schools, a lot of corporations,
yeah,
media outlets. This is fantastic. What you all got in here?
yeah, we're laying down the.
It's kind of crazy, like the opportunities that we have from all the stuff, because I've seen schools that like media classes that like don't have anywhere near what we actually have here, which is crazy, because seeing just the podcast table alone is insane. And then not even knowing that we got the TriCaster room and our own news show and stuff. Like, it's not just a podcast. We have TCTC time and all that other stuff all in this one classroom is just crazy to me.
Yeah, and you know, the podcast. I'll say this: when we started, we had like a couple really old mics, little board over here, couple computers which I would always bump and like delete everything like when we're doing it. You know, so the school has been very supportive. This is a lot of money.
Yeah,
That they have put into it.
we've grown like so much.
Much.
Like we built the walls. We took away the MacBooks. We have our own audio engineer station now. So now the audio engineer isn't actually on the podcast and in all the camera shots. We got new 360 cameras, shots coming down everywhere. It's like it has just grown, and a new mic that we just got. So
Yeah.
now we can have 5
Yep,
people on
5
the guest without sharing. That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. So now you're working on bringing this stuff into the school and then teaching them how to market it, right?
Yeah. So the digital movement is big, like everybody knows, and everyone wants to create content or tell a story, and they're looking for the younger generation to embrace it. But you might be in environments where the training is not provided. So my goal is to reach out to some of the schools or different entities who want digital story branding or storytelling training. Also at PBS Western Reserve, I created a curriculum that talks about writing for the web, using a WordPress, how to shoot mobile video, to using basic graphics and putting it all this into a website, which is the platform for your digital storytelling. There's a motto that I follow that I created, that the value of the story, or the value of the community, is based on the story being shown. So let's say you're in an area where, let's say Trumbull, and you say, okay, somebody may want to buy a property here, and they Google it. And let's say, just imagine there's no video, there's no websites, there's nothing that comes up.
Right.
What does Trumbull look like to that person trying to buy property here?
Blank.
Blank.
Just blank. Just blank.
There's
And
nothing,
know-
I'm just going to come in and sweep everything out. Boom, get all this out of here.
Yeah.
But if there's a lot of content, well-produced content, it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop telling your story, you don't exist. There's no value to you. So what I try to teach students or people trying to embrace this story branding or digital storytelling, the better you tell your story, the more value you will gain.
You know, and this is so true. I always said that I would never buy anything online. I'm going to that store
Yeah.
because I can look at it, hold it.
Brick and mortar, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But now, I'll be truthful with you. I can't stand Walmart, and I'm like,
I
I'm
can't
on
even
Amazon.
breathe when I
holy
walk in
cow.
Walmart. I'm like,
Oh yeah, but you know, and the fact is, when I'm looking for something, exactly what you said. You know what? I want to find that product. I want to see that product. I want to read everything I can read about that product. And if it's a blank, well, I'm moving on. So yes,
even with podcasting, I tell students where there's a lot of opportunity, but you can go and learn how to create it, but you gotta bring in ideas now. So, and like and I'll just say, in the black community for us, I always say, well, where can you go to find out what's going on? I don't know. Where can I go? He said, I go to the paper. It's not one central place.
Right.
So let's say Trumbull County. Where can you go to say, oh, let me find out what's going on? The same looks.
I mean,
So let's say you could turn around and create a podcast like Trumbull, what's going on in Trumbull, whatever, and you get with all the organizations in the area, and they just give you all the events, dates, and all the stuff that's going on, and you establish yourself as this portal to find out what's going on in Trumbull County. Ran by teams. Hey, this is what's going on. Find the dates, find the place, find the whatever. The money comes in like this. If you got all these dates and you establish yourself as this portal, we got all the events. Now you're going to get the community moving. People moving. Oh, it's something to do. Because what's worse, the worst thing you can say about a community is there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know about it. But if you set yourself up, oh, they got all the information. Word of mouth kicks in. What happens with word of mouth? Popularity kicks in. Here comes the money.
And word of mouth is huge.
It's huge.
It's, yeah. Once somebody starts talking about you, I mean, you go to your friend and say, yeah, I went to see this movie. And then, of course, he wants, or her, whoever wants to see that movie. And then they're going to go tell somebody, and it, yeah.
I've been waiting for that to happen with this podcast. I've been telling everybody about it.
You got. That's why I talked about Spotify, or let's say you go, if there's a United Way, you partner with, let's say you do this podcast. You join United Way, you join this organization. You use other organizations to help you spread that word because they probably got an email database already. That trickles out.
So are you saying like get people on the podcast and then have them kind of spread it out?
No, let's say the United Way. Let's say they got a lot of events, but I'm gonna make up some assumptions here. Let's say I'm just using United Way for example. They got a lot of events, but the only people that know about United Way are the people who follow United Way. So your goal is to reach those outside of this. So you go, outside of United Way. So you go to United Way and say, hey, we want to partner with you. We want to create this program to announce different events in the community. So now you're helping United Way reach people outside of United Way. United Way is going to send out their email of your show to the people they already have. They're going to start, that's their marketing for you because they're going to start talking about it. That's your word of mouth.
Okay.
So you start reaching those people, then it's going to spread out. You get popularity, word of mouth. Now you go out and get money. Money probably come to you, more than likely.
I do like money. So,
The issue with right now in the art world, you have this phrase called a starving artist.
This is true, yes.
What do you know about a starving artist?
Nothing. Well, the thing is, you come across this painting, this beautiful painting or a picture or whatever, and it's somebody you don't know, and you're like, wow. And usually you could buy their art pretty cheap. But then, other people start seeing it and people start talking about whoever. And usually the bad thing for artists they don't become famous until after they're gone.
Yeah, they don't know marketing.
They don't know marketing.
They create this great piece. They work on it for months, year on end. And I know a few, and they'll think, oh, somebody's going to see this and appreciate all the work I put in it. They're going to just pay me thousands and hundreds of thousands. And somebody comes along, I give you 100.
Yeah.
Now they're starving because they put all this work because they don't know marketing. They're not making money along the way. So they want people to appreciate their time and their work and their art, but they don't know marketing. And a lot of them don't want to know marketing. Some of them go get agents or whoever to represent them, and they still might not get their true value. So in this realm, digital content creators, well, you might end up with the title, starving digital content creators. And you don't want that. You don't want it.
Hey, this is, really what we're doing here, this is becoming the future. And this is a good thing that schools, I think, should be picking up and teaching. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on here besides us just sitting here and talking about it. Everyone that's in that TriCaster room that's doing what they're doing and all the programs that we actually use to put it out there.
Yeah, another thing, it's not just that. It's also like it kind of builds yourself up, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Like, because it's a confidence thing too. Because a lot of people are soft spoken. I know. I used to be a quiet wee little lad. Didn't really want to talk.
I'll be honest. I was very nervous sitting there, and every time I got on here, I was getting, and I'm still, I skip stuff, and then I go back and I think, well, if I would have done it this way or said it this way, it would have been a lot better. And it's just, I'm learning as we're going, but I mean, when I first started this, like the whole last year, I was really nervous about it.
I mean, I was nervous too, and I was the one running it in the back.
And then we started getting all these cameras.
Yeah, I would have froze up, like,
Yeah. That's what's making me even more nervous.
Trying to hide behind the mic.
Yeah, that's the scary thing though. Is like you get on here and you can't hide. You're gonna be seen, like no
Yeah.
matter what. You got these things that'll make you look real stupid, and you got these ones shining down on top of you. It's all over the place. You can't get away.
Well, and talking to you, it's like, and this is where people always need to listen. You've always been ahead of the ball game. I mean, everyone's kind of here with their technology or whatever, but you've already moved up here.
Well, it's a phrase everybody keeps saying that technology moves fast. Yes, it does, but people don't.
Yeah, yeah, this is true.
They do. You got an early adopter, but you got a lot of late comers and whatever. And I'm always telling people who comes from traditional media that what they're doing is still golden. Because if it wasn't for this wouldn't be here.
Right.
And a lot of the things they're doing now, I got my master's at Kent State in media management. And my project was on the work I was doing. And I'm like, what? Oh, okay. Because I always treated YouTube, my video, like most people think digital video, that it's less than traditional. Well, if it's less than, you're going to make less than money. So
Yeah, right.
I always say, well, I'm going to treat my YouTube channel like shooting television. I'm going to treat everything I shoot like the news. Why do I do that? Everything that's on television got money behind it.
Yeah.
That's why I copied it. I said, okay, I'm going to do the trends like the news. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And there's opportunities here to where, like, for example, when I was a kid, there was a phone number. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. And it's 901-521-5261. They gave the date, time, and what was going on in the
Time and
community.
temperature. Yeah, 394-7070.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the only numbers I can still
Right,
remember.
right. And it gave you different events in the city. You listed about 5 minutes, and you got the phone.
Yeah.
Well, what did I tell you about the podcast or things going on there? You take the same thing, you put that on the podcast, and you send that out. People say, oh, I'm going to put a notification on Spotify because they're always going to tell me what's going on in the community. Movies, events, anything. It's golden. Just look at what goes on. That's what goes on really in history and marketing. Things go in circles or cycles. So if you want to do some new marketing trend, it's really nothing new. You just go back and find out what worked back then and just put a different angle on it. So that time and temp and events going on, you do that on a podcast, it's golden.
Okay, so something that I'm taking from it is like, so a lot of people I think are trying to like go like fully unique. I think they're trying to go with whole new things. So basically, so you're saying just kind of like you can do unique if you're like if you can figure something out. I don't know, but really it'd be a lot easier to just take something old and then just revamp it.
Yeah. There's nothing new under the sun. And now I added to it. Says it depends on what kind of light you shine on it.
Okay.
So like you talk about music, you talk about podcasts. You say I'm just a kid. Tell your story different. Say you want to create a podcast and highlight new music artists in Northeast Ohio. They sing you some music, and you just highlight it on your podcast, and you play. You start off like that. You go find money from like a Guitar Center to sponsor you, and you promote it. You go do the Spotify ads that I talked about. You go hit 20,000 people, and you highlighting new music from new artists who don't get radio play. And it's on your podcast. Now, everybody going to be talking about you just doing this podcast. You could be at home with a Blue Yeti and just playing on your MacBook Pro in this room. You don't even have to have video. But now you don't hit 20,000 people on Spotify. If you can hit 20,000 people on Spotify twice a week, highlighting new artists, and you got 20,000 people listening to you every 2 weeks, how much money do you think you're going to be making?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Any amount you want to.
That's
That's the thing about podcasting, on this podcasting and video. It's about reaching people and getting people to move.
All right. So I'm about to be rich. That's what I'm gonna say.
There's a book. There's a book I'm always tell people to get. It's called Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. Read that
I'm gonna
book.
write that down. just in case,
Storytelling, like digital storytelling. Here's, matter of fact, Lily, do you know what the term digital means?
Couldn't say. I could tell you the actual definition.
So here's the thing. In order to use something, you need to know the origin of where it comes from and what it means.
Yeah.
So I'm a word geek. You have definitions. You have etymology. Etymology is the origin of a word.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to give you the quick story on it. Digital comes for the word, digital comes for the word digits, which means your fingers and your toes.
Yeah.
Then you have.
Digits means fingers and toes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a Roman word.
I do take anatomy this year, so I know that.
Yeah.
That's what digital comes from. So now you got media. Media is the message. Media is also the aspect of getting people to move. Now you heard the word content. So they say, oh, digital content. So content, the word itself, can be said in two ways, content and content.
Mm-hmm.
What does content mean?
Like happy.
Happy. So if you got digital content, let's flip it. You got happy, then fingers and toes. When people are watching digital content, are they watching it on TV or are they watching it with a phone in their hand?
What'd you just pull out of your pocket
Your phone.
to
Yeah.
write down?
Yeah,
You know, when we write down, well, when we grew up, this
Right.
is our writing down. You grabbed out that little computer in your hand.
Right. So the phone
Yeah.
in your hand, the phone, like mobile, digital mobile is like, okay, the digital fingers and your toes is the phone. You holding it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's mobile when you walk around in it. That's what they call it. Digital mobile, digital, whatever, mobile content. But if you got the word content, which is happy, and you got your fingers and the toes with your phone, your goal is to make people feel happy with the device in their hand. Whatever you create should make people feel good because they always got that device on them. When you figure out how to make people feel good with your content, you're going to make money.
That's good advice. I'm like,
Well,
that's
great
crazy.
advice. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
that's
wow.
true. I mean, if there's something I dislike, I'm not going to keep watching it or
Yeah.
listening to it. But if there's something that, like
Like ghost hunting videos.
something that just takes my mind off of
It'd be
all
ghost
my
stories.
problems, yeah, ghost stories, whatever.
Is that a lockdown?
I don't know.
No.
Attention please, we're now going into a general lockdown drill. Once again, we're going into a general lockdown drill.
Practice.
Lockdown drill. Okay, so now here's the real question: is do we ignore it?
Location. Teachers, please continue with your normal instruction. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
We're- we're
continuing with our
ignoring it.
normal
There we go.
instruction.
You know, who cares about a lockdown drill?
And see,
We're locked down, baby.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
with the deputy.
We good.
we got an armed guard in
Oh
here.
yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
But that's here. For people don't know, I mean, this is part of being inside the school. It's like,
We gotta love that, like the bells ringing and stuff. You
yeah,
just gotta get
you
used
gotta
to it.
roll with it. And today we have a lockdown drill.
But I love what teenagers say. I don't know what I want to do, but I told some teenagers this a few months ago, and they like one of them's 14, one of them's at Akron Early College. No, he's in college already, but he's like a junior, but he's on like 18, clueless. So he said, I don't know what I want to do. And I said, what do you like doing now? He said, well, I like doing this, this, and this. He's in graphics. And I said, well, what's the difference between a job and a career?
Good thing you hit Lily with this one.
I'm gonna use my current job and what I want to do for a living. I work at a barbecue joint right now, but for my career, I'd rather be doing something similar to directing.
All right, I'm gonna help you out with it. The difference between a career and a job is the first four letters in career.
Care.
Care. What you like doing right now, what you care about, you find a way to make money from it, and that's your career. You'll never feel like you're working.
Yeah, jobs really make you feel miserable.
Because most people get like, oh, I can't wait to retire.
Yeah.
What's that? A job they don't like doing? And they come back on the second part. I want to do this. They always go back to. Most people I know that say they retire, they go back to something they loved when they was younger.
Man, Wow, that's crazy. All right, so I like music, so I'm gonna be good at music. Boom, career done.
And then
Figured it out.
another part too, you can't do it by yourself. You got to find a team.
All right, you guys want to help me? I mean,
You find some other music buddies, just talk and just do whatever. But when you learn how to help, to get people to move and help people, that's your money.
jeez, wow. I'm not gonna lie. This is like some of the best advice I've gotten in a while. This is crazy. I gotta like start writing this stuff down and
There's
taking
a lot
notes.
to absorb, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be like listening back to this podcast. Like, what did he say?
Yeah, I get books all the time. Like people come to me all the time. How can I get this out? And this is the part that really gets you. Is a lot of opportunity for new young people, or anybody that's learning this. You hear a lot of people say, "Well, we don't know how to get this message out. How do we do this? How do we do that?" And it's right there because they'll say it. A lot of people say that, but they don't move. So it's up to you all to go out and tell their story. To say, "Hey, here's what you can do, and here's how you can do it." Once you do that, that's when the money. That's another channel of money coming.
Yeah, that reminds me of the PBS Student Reporting Labs. They had that
Yes.
summer academy. And I was the only student chosen from Ohio to go.
Okay.
But I was also the only student in this class who even filled out the application. And I know for a fact that if even some of my classmates filled it out, they would have gone with me.
Yeah, okay.
They would have gone with me. But I was the only one that even filled it out.
That's another thing that I'm out here to do is help get more students into that story labs and everything
Yes.
else.
It's a great resource.
Well, here's another. Every student in the whole school should learn some aspect of digital media,
Yes.
if not telling a story. Because when you go, we know the term resume. Resume is just telling a story.
You gotta sell yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta sell yourself better than the next person.
Yep.
So when they're looking at your resume of what you can bring to the table, well, wow, look at this. He can this, and this.
Well, I know that you were talking about like letters earlier, like before we started the podcast, like actually writing a letter to somebody.
Yes.
So would I send them my resume after I wrote the letter?
I wouldn't even send a resume. Not the template. The one that's your job history.
Yeah.
You got a story. You're a young person. You know digital media. You're in music. You find that story. That book I mentioned, Building Your Story Brand.
Mhm.
If you're trying to get a job somewhere, and let's say you got an HR person, I'm sure they get millions of resumes every day, emails, mostly emails today. But how many letters do they get?
Have your attention, please. This now concludes our general lockdown drill. Once again, this now concludes our general lockdown drill. Thank you.
Finished. Done.
So imagine this. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna make you the HR person.
Okay.
You looking for applicants to hire for your company. You get 1,000 emails a day. Emails of job applicants from Indeed everywhere, just bombarding, boom, 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 boom. You're on a computer. Out of 1,000 emails, 1,000 resumes, how many do you think you're gonna look at it each day?
Probably about 5.
About 5. And the rest of them is out of here. You look for keywords, whatever. Now, somebody sends you a letter in the mail. Imagine that.
Yeah, you can't really avoid it.
You
Well,
can't avoid it. You got your full, undivided attention for a few moments. And if it's a story, everybody, I don't care who you are, loves a good story. And if you wrote a good story about yourself, about what you can bring to the company, or whatever, you'll have them in that moment by paper. Paper is the most powerful element in the world, but they're trying to get you to go all digital. But everything is so fast moving. Paper will stop everything. And here's a question.
That's a great point.
Would you want $50 on Cash App or $50 in cash?
in cash.
Yeah.
Easily. Right there. So are you giving me $50? I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, that. It's like, okay, cash. Okay, well, paper's powerful. Well, that's one of my side notes. But yeah, with this digital, the opportunity you have here, you got to bring the ideas to the people now. That's your opportunity. Because everybody can create content these day and age. A lot of people just creating content at home. Ain't nobody listen to me. What I'm going to do with this? Get discouraged, get the feelings hurt, this and that, whatever. Like you going out to Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's a great part of your story. I'm sure you learned a lot.
I did learn a lot.
Did you see the power out there?
I did. It was incredible being like not only meeting like industry professionals, but even the other fellows that I was with. We were all in a group chat and we still talk like every day.
Wow.
So I have friends from Hawaii to Boston now,
See, and that's
everywhere in
big.
between.
I
And
lived in Hawaii for 6 years.
You should tell them about doing time.
I should. I don't think I have yet. I definitely should.
All right, so
I'll
who
give
is
him a link.
PBS Learning Labs? What was the actual full name of the program?
PBS Student Reporting Lab.
Student Reporting Lab.
Yes.
Now let's look at PBS NewsHour. Let's look at their website. Do they have a video portal or video show highlighting youth telling stories around the country?
I want to say yes.
Check again.
Check again.
If
Really?
they don't, then what?
Send them a letter.
Yeah.
There you go.
Letter.
Yeah.
People don't realize what they're missing until they're told.
Yeah.
Now I got a philosophy that people don't like. That the greatest problem solver are the ones who create the problem.
It's true. That comes back to if it's not broke, don't fix it.
You say, what's the problem? Y'all don't have a youth reporting segment on your show. So, we didn't think about that. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Now you solve it.
Good idea.
Wow. God, I really am going to be listening to this podcast a lot.
And you've made some really great contacts. I mean,
Yeah.
especially you guys are all still chatting. So, I mean, that comes later in life when you are doing whatever you're doing. And now such and such over here that you met years ago that now you talk to every day. It's like, hey, guess what I'm doing? Got room for me?
Yeah, we do share. We do like to share, like, what we're working on and stuff. A lot of the stuff that they do is more in, like, broadcasting. I love comparing our school programs because we've sent, like, video tours to each other of what our own labs look like. You wouldn't believe it, but some of theirs are miles above ours. And
Above us?
Yes. And
That's
that's
crazy.
hard to believe. But I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, a lot of the ones, 3 of them are based in Detroit, like in the Detroit area, and their programs are wonderful. They have like sound stages.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
Wow.
That's big.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And my one friend Dakota, she literally met the VP. She met Kamala Harris, and she interviewed her through PBS, Student Reporting Labs. And so that's now on her resume. She got to ride in the motorcade.
Oh, wow.
She told us about that, and I was like posting her all over. I was like, I know this girl. We are friends.
So here's the other thing I always hear. Groups. I'm connected to a lot of associations, and I did a media academy up in Cleveland a few months back, and we were talking about podcasting then, and I made this comment that you have all these organizations always saying that what the youth don't do and what they will do, but they're not talking to the youth.
Yeah.
But they'll say, oh, the youth are going to TikTok and this and that and whatever. I said, because you ain't give them no other choice. You give them a choice for this level, then they'll come, give them experience and let them in the door, they'll come in. But here's the power in it. You all have the power to provide their voice. What's missing? Because if you're not talking, they're gonna create the story for you. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, we need to move on. So, let's move on to my favorite time of the day.
Skip
That embarrassing moment. We have a coconut that we
embarrassing.
want to start using. That's a soft one, but there's a good story behind it.
Okay.
Kill it. Go ahead.
Are you
Let's
looking
hear-
at me? Oh,
I can start it off if
man.
you want me to.
Yeah, go.
I'll
All
let
right,
you
yeah,
start
yeah,
it off.
All right.
I was thinking because I have had a bunch of them. So I just told this to a friend of mine the other day. I film. I'm a freelancer for a group overseas, and I covered the NFL draft. That was up in Cleveland not too long ago, and it was embarrassing because I'm a big guy, and you always have to pay attention to the chairs, see if they're gonna hold you up.
Oh.
So I'm at the event. We're in the media room, and I'm looking at the chairs. And I swore all the chairs started trying to hide up on the table when they saw me coming. And I get in, I sit down at this table, and I know this chair can't hold me up. and the chair started squeaking when I sat in it, and it dipped like it was gonna break.
Break.
But I caught myself. I put it to the side. Then my dummy self went and got another one. The chair started crying before I got to it. I was like, okay, we put that up. And then got to the third one. I said, okay, I'm literally going to have to hold myself up to keep all the weight off this chair. And the next thing you know, I had 3 chairs over here all broken up to the side. I'm trying to... And I had to go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to finish what I was doing because their chairs were better. So that was just breaking chairs in the NFL draft. And it's like, man, you too big. You're going to lose some weight. But that's my little embarrassing moment.
You think
At the NFL draft.
Yeah, well, there's some big guys there. They should have better chairs.
Right. These like little, this is picnic chairs for first graders. What y'all doing?
Yeah. Okay, Lily.
Okay, so my embarrassing story is from my PBS trip to Phoenix. So we had teams, and so we did a couple like editing exercises before we moved on to our big story that we were producing. And one of them was just to make like a small video with cuts, like use their microphones for the first time. And so my team's so hyped. We're like, okay, we're gonna get back. We're gonna show this because there's like a little showing like what everybody made. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Because we were in Phoenix, so we were like, we're gonna do like somebody ran out of water and they're all thirsty and like stuff like that. And so we're showing it, and I was in charge of, I thought I triple checked my audio and the microphones, and I thought this is gonna be so good. And then we played it, and my audio was just blown out completely.
Wow.
And it's playing in front of everybody, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I swore I could have triple checked this. And then my team leader singles me out in front of everybody, and he was like, I saw you make this mistake, and I didn't want to fix it for you because I wanted to make you an example for everybody else. And I was like, oh, that is so nice of you.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
thank you for
so
throwing
nice.
Sacrificial
Awesome.
lamb.
Yeah, literally.
Nice.
Thanks
I
for
was like-
throwing me under the rug there.
Now I'm not afraid to make mistakes because I know it's not the end of the world.
Oh shoot, I'm afraid of mistakes all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Well, if it's something that can be redone, I'm not afraid. But
Yeah.
live situations are very different
Oh, yeah,
from
yeah.
something that I know can be fixed. But that definitely, I was like, thank you for singling me out in front of this room of people who are my age, and I don't. This is when we were first all getting to know each other. And I was like, oh, thanks for that, appreciate it.
Fantastic. Oh no.
Yeah, you're up.
Listen, okay, I've had like 10 embarrassing moments on this thing already. I think I'm running out.
You're running out.
I've been sitting here trying to think for like the past 5 minutes. I can't think of one. Why you looking at me like that?
you know all 10.
Oh man.
That's right. You have shared numerous ones.
I'm trying right now. I'm trying to think of one.
I shared the one where I was chasing raccoons in my underwear.
That was a good one.
Yeah, all right, I'll reshare it.
I'll reshare it.
So we always would go camping over in Cook's Forest, and got to move back to the days where Tupperware was really big, hard to get a hold of, and expensive.
Yeah.
So you got to put everything up where the raccoons are going to get your stuff, and they're masters. I sleep in my underwear. The next thing I know, my sister-in-law is screaming that this raccoon is taking off with her Tupperware.
Wow.
Go get it. So I'm chasing these raccoons down the dirt road, and everybody's at their campsites laughing because I got my tidy whities on.
Oh man.
We didn't have those colored ones back then. And I got a lot of applause. And I did get the Tupperware back.
Wow. Wow.
Wasn't it
Wait,
like?
oh yeah. And
You like it when I guess it wasn't no cell phone video back then.
no, there wasn't.
Okay.
Thank goodness. So I bring it back. Here was the kick. She looks at it and she goes, "Oh, that's my old Tupperware. I could have
Oh.
had that." He's like, "What?"
Wow.
Hey, but you know what? You got that Tupperware, and you did it in style.
Hero.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Wow.
Nothing.
nothing. I've said so many on here. I can't even think.
Well,
I got another one. You want another one?
I'll take it.
Alright,
You can
good.
take my spot.
I was like as I mentioned, I was working with 107.3 The Wave, and they had a wine festival. They always played at this vineyard, this Debonnaire. It was Debonnaire Vineyard, and they had the little concerts, this middle of summer, this and that, whatever. And I'm filming, and my belt is like the type of buckle that you can take off the leather.
Yes, yes.
You pinch down, and that thing, and no, it was one you could twist. You could twist the handle around, change the design. They had a little rubber rope. You twist it and put it back in. Well, that little rubber part, the rope, just broke. So I'm walking around trying to film, my pants drooping, I'm trying to walk out real slow because I'm like, okay, I don't want nobody to know my pants dropping. And I end up finding the maintenance guy. And I say, man, you got any electrical tape?
Man, you were down bad.
Right? And I wrapped this electrical tape around my belt the whole time, but I was still walking slow because I'm thinking it's hot out here, so that tape might just give way. So everybody kept saying, man, why are you walking so slow? And I said, I need to hurry up and get out of here. And I just faked like I was sick and I left early.
That would have been, that would have been.
I just told a host that about 6 months ago, and that was about a year or so ago. Just walking around like, oh, my leg hurt. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
It's an emergency.
I think I'm getting a cramp.
Right.
So let's go ahead and move on to the shout out time.
It's shout out time.
For some reason, a lot of people think you want to get one shout out. You can shout out to whoever, how many times. Say hi.
First, I'll say PBS Western Reserve. That's what I work with, and we got a learning platform that any students out here want to learn different features of story branding or media. I can give you access to it. Give a shout out to my old friends 107.3 The Wave. Stats Perform, which is the group I film for overseas. Missed another group. I think they're connected with the Zone, DAZN. If you know in sports, that's a sports brand.
So do you actually travel then overseas?
No, they just called me and I just cover stuff here.
I got
Yeah,
you.
because I covered all the NBA finals and all that. I went through the parade, did all that. I still go to therapy for. No, I'm not. Well, it messed me up because I had to walk the whole thing. But yeah, I covered the Cavs, the Browns. I even covered the World Series when the Indians was in there for a second.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, give a shout out to them and different organizations that I work with in the community.
Okay, I want to shout out my mom. Hi, Mom. Thank you for letting me travel by myself to Phoenix for the first time, and thanks for letting me travel in general. Also, shout out to the SRL Student Reporting Labs Academy group chat on Snapchat. Hi, guys. I'm going to be sending you this so you can all watch it and hear me talk about you guys. We need to Zoom again. We had a Zoom reunion, so we need to do that again sometime. That's fun. I miss you guys, and hopefully we have a IRL reunion soon.
All right, I guess that's me. Okay, all right. Mom, Dad, love you guys. Cool. Zach and Braden, you guys know who you are. Also, Connor, thank you for running the audio, and the people in the TriCaster room. Love you guys. Awesome.
Well, I actually want to give a shout out to my doctor, Dr. Kukovic, and his staff. They're great, and he actually watches our podcast. So if you're watching this one, hello, and I just want to thank everybody and shout out to everybody that does constantly listen to us. Or we do have fans out there.
Yeah.
They let me know. So shout out and thank you to all you guys. And
Shout out to you, Deputy Mike. Shout out to you.
thanks. And that actually brings us to out of service.
Out of service.
Till next time.
I'll be out of service.
How was that?
Pretty long, I'm not gonna
That
lie.
was-